Tonight, if you get cold, you will do something almost magical. You will walk to a wall, touch a little box, and warm air will fill your home. You will not even think about it. But for almost all of human history, there was no little box on the wall, no heater, no warm car, no thick coat from a store. And winter was not just uncomfortable. Winter was a killer. This is the story of how ancient humans survived the cold that should have wiped them out again and again, with nothing but their own cleverness and each other. Let us start with how dangerous the cold really was. The cold does not wait. It does not give you weeks, the way hunger does. On a freezing night with no shelter and no fire, a human can die in a matter of hours. And these were not mild winters. For much of our history, the world was gripped by ice ages. Winters could last most of the year. The wind could freeze a person where they stood. A single bad night could take a child, an elder, or a whole family. So how did any of them make it to spring? How are you even here? They did not have one answer. They had many. And each one was a small miracle of survival. The first and the greatest was fire. Fire was everything. Warmth and light and safety, all in one dancing flame. A band of humans guarded their fire like their own life, because it was their own life. To let the fire die on a winter night could mean death by morning. But here is the thing about fire. A fire only warms one side of you. Sit by it and your front is warm while your back goes cold. Fire alone was not enough to beat a real winter. So they invented something just as important, something you are probably wearing right now. Clothes. Not just a skin thrown over the shoulders, real, fitted, layered clothing. And to make it, they invented one of the most powerful little tools in all of history, the sewing needle. With a needle carved from bone, they could stitch animal skins into snug, closed clothing, sleeves, hoods, boots, layers that trapped a pocket of warm air against the body and held it there. This sounds simple. It was not. It may be one of the reasons our ancestors survived the ice ages, while other kinds of humans, who wore cruder clothing, struggled. A needle and thread was survival technology, but clothes and fire still were not enough if you were out in the open. They needed shelter. Where there were caves, humans used them, deep and out of the wind. Where there were none, they built huts from bones, branches, and hides. They dug their homes partly into the ground, where the earth itself holds warmth. They piled snow and dirt against the walls to block the wind. And in the far, frozen north, humans did something that sounds impossible. They built houses out of snow. It seems mad, building a shelter from the very thing that is trying to kill you. But snow is full of trapped air, and trapped air is a warm blanket. Inside a dome of snow, with a single small lamp and a few warm bodies, it could be shockingly cozy while a storm screamed outside. Then there was food, because staying warm is not only about the outside. It is about the fire inside you. To make heat, your body burns fuel, and that fuel is food. In winter, ancient humans needed rich, fatty food more than ever. A belly full of fatty meat was like throwing another log on your inner fire. So they hunted the fattest animals they could and saved what they could for the lean, frozen months. A starving body cannot keep itself warm. Food was not just food. In winter, food was heat. But maybe the most important trick of all was the simplest, and it was each other. On the coldest nights, ancient humans did not sleep apart. They slept together in a pile, wrapped in furs, sharing skin and breath and body heat. A parent's body kept a baby alive. A group huddled close became a single warm creature that no one of them could have been alone. One human in the snow is a body slowly losing its heat. But a family curled together under a pile of skins by a guarded fire inside a wind-blocked shelter is something the cold cannot easily kill. That was the real secret. Not any single invention, but all of them stacked together. Fire and clothing and shelter and food and warm bodies pressed close, layer upon layer of cleverness between a fragile human and a world of ice. So think about what that means. Every ancestor you have ever had survived every single winter of their life. Everyone. Because if even one of them had frozen before having children, you would not be here. That is thousands of winters survived in a row, reaching back hundreds of thousands of years, Thousands of freezing nights where someone fed the fire and pulled the furs tighter and held a child close and made it, somehow, to the morning. They had no heater on the wall. They had no idea you would ever exist. But they beat the cold anyway with clever hands and warm bodies and a stubborn refusal to freeze. So tonight, when you touch that little box and the warm air comes, remember where it really comes from. It comes from the needle and the fire and the snow house and the pile of sleeping bodies under the furs. It comes from every ancestor who looked at the killing cold and found a way to live through one more winter, all the way down to you.